Well, hello.
And hello, Craig.
We're
and
live
hello,
again. We've been expecting you. So, hi, everybody. We're going to be doing a show tonight. We're going to have some predictions. Jane and I are going to have a bit of a chat about things, what's going on in the world and things like that. And then we'll be open to your questions, all sorts of questions, whatever you might have to ask us, but not about predictions. We're going to make a few predictions at the top of the show, and then we're going to just open it up to all things paranormal, basically. But we will also be having a special patron session on Thursday on the patron site about where we can interact with me and we can talk about what's going on in the world and so forth. So we're going to say hello to everybody as you join us, and I bet we can guess who's going to be on this.
Agility Bits.
Agility Bits, I expect, and that lady
Nana,
yes.
Patrice.
Oh, we got a nice one first of all from Kimmy's Cuisine and Homesteading, Canadian dollars. $13.99. She's just given a donation. Well, thank you very much, Kimmy. All helps. Everything that really does help. All that type of Graffiti Avenue. Hello again, Craig and Jane.
Oh, thank you. I had to put my glasses on.
Agility Bits, of course. Hi there, Pat. We'll be talking to you hopefully on Thursday when you join us on the patrons, because I know you're a patron and you come regularly to the patron Zoom sessions where we'll also expand a bit on these type of things today.
Carly, hello from Southampton.
Oh, that's nearby.
Nana, hi.
Hi, you too. Nana, you picked it up.
Hi, Nana.
This is the prediction bit of the show, isn't it?
No.
Karen, hello from windy Chicago, freezing here again.
Oh, hi, Karen.
Sheila also comes online too. Good evening and namaste from India. Craig and Jane, looking forward to your insights. And I noticed when you came on the Zoom session at the patrons, Sheila, a lot of really nice positive comments about that, what you had to say when you were talking with me the other week. Kevin, hi from Norfolk.
Oh,
up round your mum's.
Yeah. Aries, Rainbow Child.
Hi from Taiwan, where your mum should be sent.
Oh, what an awful thing to say.
That's the mother-in-law.
Patrice.
Greetings from Germany. Patricia comes in regularly. Nice to see you again. And Neil Macendo saying, good morning, Craig and Jane from Melbourne, Australia. It's nice and early here, 4 a.m. Yeah, we know. Goodness. We keep wowing at that. Looking very colourful today. Yes.
Yes, he likes to match whatever I've got.
Well,
he doesn't want to be outshined.
Jane says, I'm going to wear yellow. Oh, what are we going to wear then?
Oh, Audrey. Hi, Audrey. I did leave a message, Audrey, on your answer phone.
This is a public broadcast, Jane.
I know, but I'm just saying to Audrey, just in case. And I keep phoning you, darling.
Hello from Pennsylvania. Hi, Eileen. Lorraine Biggs. Hello, Lorraine from Wareham, Dorset.
Oh, yeah, we love Dorset.
Yeah, nice area down there in Wareham. That's where all the Jurassic Coast is. I love all that area. We took some fantastic videos down there a while back. Hello, everyone from Toronto, says Lita.
Hi, Lita.
So if you're just joining us, we're going to be talking about predictions today. We're going to be doing some general chat with me and Jane and your questions about all things paranormal. Chandni says, namaste from New Delhi, India. Both of you look great. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Both of me do look great. I'm the schizophrenic. Linda saying, good evening, Craig and Jane from Cyprus.
Good evening, Linda.
We keep seeing that one come up with Linda there from Cyprus. A nice place.
Jamie Baby Cardo. Hi to you both from London.
Yes, we had Jamie on last week. Yeah, I remember because it was an unusual name coming up. Yeah.
Well, hello, baby Jamie.
Pretty short memory nowadays. Jules saying hello from Winchester, just down the road. We seem to have a lot of local people lately. Yeah. And that may be because we've been doing some theatres locally too.
We've done one, a big demonstration at Concord.
Just recently, didn't we? We did one. Domenico's working on the video, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. The wind chime says, good, I just caught you two by chance.
Oh, that's good.
Lucky.
Oh,
well, if you follow us with the wind chime, you'll get a little chime. If you click that little bell thing on the bottom of the screen, you'll get a little announcement if you follow us on YouTube or on Facebook, of course.
Lars, hello.
Lars Stefan, hello from Sweden.
No, it's skull, isn't it, in Norwegian?
Cheers. Skull, yeah. Catherine saying, Catherine from Fife.
Oh, that's nice.
Or a best. That's what they say up in Fife.
Right. Tina, good morning from Australia. Just woken up. It's 4 a.m.
More from Australia. We think a lot of you are interested in from Australia, aren't you? Because Doris Stokes was out in Australia, wasn't she? And that's one of our mentors in the past.
Chris, hello from Chris in Wales. Lovely to watch your videos. Lovely for you to communicate with us, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, folks. It's nice that you're all joining. So many regulars coming on now. And also I noticed, thousands of regulars actually from the comments. Hello from Scotland. From Sasha. Yeah. And nice to see you all joining us live today. And if we even leave comments, even if after we've gone live, because we do read them all and we pick up for thoughts about things we're going to say for the future. And it's not just nice for everybody to communicate like a forum. Aparajita saying namaste. From Pune in India. I think I went to Pune. Catherine David says, hi, Jane. I really need a reading. Well overdue. Love, Catherine.
I love you to come, Catherine.
And Jane's very busy at the moment with the local readings, aren't you?
Well, I'm busy. I have to go by the government.
We've got
guideline.
COVID restrictions here,
So
but we are opening up with all the right stuff.
You have to take your temperature, hand stuff, mask, and track and trace when you come to see me.
From Jay's point of view, we only just started doing readings again, haven't you?
Yeah.
All that COVID period, we couldn't have anyone visit the home. So Liz Clark saying hi from Hollytown, Scotland.
Oh, that's nice.
A lot of people
Liz.
from Scotland.
Yeah.
The Scots are always very interested in this Highland Sears they have in Scotland.
Mickey Bailey, hello from New York City. Jane, love the year. Yeah, I'm glorious tonight, Craig, and I love it.
Perhaps I should yellow. I was trying to get a yellow zoot
Yellow
suit,
mellow.
I couldn't get one. So hello from Greece. So we're saying all the hellos, just letting everybody get online, and we're going to start talking about some of the thoughts in a minute for you guys if you're just joining us. So hello from Greece. We were going to go to Greece, but we never did we? Because of the COVID. Indigo saying, hi, Craig and Jade, have problems with the link. So I'm saying hello from Gosport.
Oh, Gosport. Hello, Gosport.
Hiya, Gosport.
We've got some friends there.
Yeah, we've got a few friends in Gosport. So I think we've said the hellos, and we're going to, we thought we'd start changing the format very slightly. When you come to this channel, it's kind of casual. We just kind of see where it takes us a lot of the time. And but we thought we might start off. We know that the prediction side of our work is very popular, although I think we'd say we're mediums over and above predictions.
We can do both.
Really. We can do both. But we're going to talk. I said to Jane, let's do a few predictions each. I don't have the faintest idea what Jane's written down on hers, and she doesn't know what mine are. So we might maybe overlap or even contradict one another.
Last week's?
Sorry? Yeah, well, first of all, last week, I mean, Jane did a brilliant one. She said, you mentioned about, we were talking about earth changes and volcanoes and earthquakes, and I was saying that this would be something that we feel would be more commonplace. And you chirped in and said, I think there's going to be one.
I saw a volcano and it's going to happen soon. It happened the next day, didn't it?
It happened the next day.
Got the paper clip coming
and
up.
I think Domenico can put the clip up.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Thousands free. This was the earthquake down in Congo. And it wasn't just a normal volcano, rather. It wasn't just a normal volcano. It's the full deal with thousands of people having to evacuate. And you saw that happening.
I saw it as we were sitting here. I saw a vision.
Yeah,
and I saw it.
And that was quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
And I think each week, sometimes I will put the clips up like that if I've got time to get them together to make graphical. Domenico has. And me too. I was talking about cold fission. You remember? And I said I had a feeling there's going to be a big breakthrough with cold fission. Now, cold fission is kind of like getting loads of energy without having to use any fuel, basically. And there you go, in a big page in the Mail saying about that the British have now made a major step forward with cold fission. So they used to think it was a completely impossible thing to do that. And yet now, if we did get that cold fission, it would be one of the most world-changing things of all time.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
And thanks to the patrons, actually, because I didn't see that link until one of the patrons sent it to me.
That's really good.
Actually. So we're going to do a few predictions for you. Who's going to start off?
You start off. You're the chatty one.
All right. We're not going to do hundreds of them. And when you do your questions as well, we're not going to do... You won't be able to ask us, can you predict this and predict that?
No, we don't do it individually.
Because we'd rather just see what we get, isn't it, really?
Yes,
it's the way it works. We kind of tune in, we pick it up. If someone says, who's going to win the football match tomorrow? I've no idea, because it don't work like that.
I hate football.
Yeah. But if we saw a sudden picture, a football match abandoned or something like that, then, or football match riot or something, We'd pick it up, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
But we don't kind
No
of pick
good
it.
asking who's going to win on the derby in that,
Yeah.
because we place it ourselves.
So we're going to keep some of the predictions at the top of the show. So I've got a few here. Maybe I'll do a couple of mine and then you do some of yours.
I'm only going to do 3.
Okay. Well, one of the ones I was thinking about
It's
is
another patron.
Oh, thanks, Neil. Craig, I remember asking about Bitcoin and you made a prediction about it going down this year. You were right about it. Yeah, wasn't I right about that? And I noticed in the papers today, actually, that Musk is, what's his first name? I can't remember. Musk, Tesla, said that he's going to, he's kind of not allowing purchase of Tesla cars with it now, which was a big deal only months ago. And I think actually he'll pull out of Dogecoin or whatever it's called, Dogecoin or Dogecoin or whatever they call it. He's going to pull out of that, I think. And I think you've got to watch that market carefully. Watch.
It's interesting. You've done 4 and I've done 4.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what some of my thoughts were then first, Jane. See what you think and see what you guys think. I was thinking about Trump, of course, because Trump's one of the guys that's, I don't know, I've always had a kind of a connection with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I just find him such a fascinating person.
Well, you like it because he says what he means.
But I do, I do in a lot of ways. So I think we're going to get the midterm elections next year in November, I think it is, in America. And I think at that time, the Democrat vote, as it were, is going to completely collapse at that time.
Wasn't he going to stand 24?
Well, 2024 is when he might or may not stand. And I was picking up, I don't think he's going to make any announcement until after the midterms. At the midterms, he's going to come in with some shocking news about standing. And I think they're going to try to stop him. And my thought is, he's come looking at the pigeons fighting over there. It's a bit like politics. They're going to try to stop him, but he's going to get round it. Because I think he's going to stand with somebody else. And I don't know if this is even possible at the moment in American politics, but I get the feeling he's going to stand to become the vice president, rather than the main president. But knowing full well that he'll be the one pulling the strings. Because I get the feeling they're going to really, really try to stop him completely. And I also, I predicted some time ago that Rudy Giuliani would betray Trump. This is going back some time ago. We've got pigeons fighting in front of us.
They're not fighting. I think they're
doing other things, I think. So anyway, Rudy Giuliani, I feel, is going to... I said he was going to eventually stab Trump in the back. And I think this is going to come up. So those are some of the things I feel. And I also think the main problems that's going to cause the Democrat collapse is going to be border controls, open borders, because I feel that's going to become a huge issue in America right from now on, because it's going to get more and more out of control. And I also feel that some of the stimulus money that he's putting is going to dry up, that it's going to be these checks that Biden's been handing out to people, the money's going to dry up. And I think people are going to become unhappy because they kind of become dependent on that. So that's my first prediction.
Right.
I'll let you do one because I'll go on forever otherwise.
Yeah. Right. Now, I'm going to do a prediction about Meghan Markle. And I saw complications with a baby coming, which is a little girl. And I felt there's going to be problems around the birth and around this little one that's coming to the earth.
Oh, that's an interesting prediction.
Definitely. I saw it because at the moment, I think, people are turning against her slowly and slowly. And that because she sees herself as the next Princess Diana. Mm-hmm. And in a way, that's what Harry has seen in her. And she's a total controlling person over him.
Yeah.
But, we wouldn't want any harm to come to any children.
No, obviously not. She's pregnant. When's she due? Do you know?
I haven't asked her, Craig.
No, I don't know.
But I saw complications.
So complications can happen any time.
Yes, with the birth of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's new baby daughter coming.
Yeah. They've not made any announcements about.
No, I just saw complications. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll come in with another one then. Then you come in again after me, Jane. I was thinking also about the Wuhan lab leaks. And that's kind of become again in the forefront in American things at the moment because Biden started talking about it finally. And I do have to ask, okay, Trump was right. Really, because he was on about the leaks in the Wuhan lab. He was calling it the China virus, and everybody said, no, we can't call it that. We mustn't call it China virus. It's just COVID-19 or whatever, you know. But I think we're going to get a lot more soon. Now, this is something I talked about a long time ago, and I talked about this quite in a lot of depth when the COVID came out. But I always believed it escaped from the lab, and that is becoming more mainstream.
Yeah.
And you thought the same, Jane.
Yes.
I mean, I've always felt it escaped from the lab. But I think there was 2 leaks, because I think on the one hand, someone got sick with it, which was one of the Chinese researchers, which is kind of in the news. So that's out there. That's already been said. So it's not a prediction. But I also I think we're going to find that they were trying experimenting with these flus and viruses and things like that on all sorts of exotic animals. And I think they used one of the pangolins. You know, they were talking about it was perhaps related to pangolins, which are those funny, scaly creatures. Now, a pangolin is a very rare, expensive creature. It's worth an awful lot of money, alive or dead. I think it was killed doing animal experiments. The body was meant to be incinerated, and somebody nicked it, and they sold it off to Chinese medicine and things like that, and that got it out. So I think we had 2 leaks at that Wuhan. That's my thought. And we're going to start seeing more and more of this being exposed. But the Nadi oracle said it wouldn't be exposed, I think it was until 2024 or something like that.
That's when everything happens at 2024.
When we know the truth about China.
Yeah. And I felt, when we were talking about, I'll jump one. I feel, you know, the UK have done really well with the COVID-19 program injection, and I feel it is on its way out. Though we're going to see new viruses and boosters to keep up viruses away, I do feel it's on its way out. And I think they've done a fantastic job, the doctors and nurses helping everyone. But we have got a lot of people that are going to say, oh, well, they're injecting these injections because it's all mind controlling, because they're going to try and control everybody in the universe, because we've been listening in by Alex, is it? What's the
aliens?
No, not aliens. And the
Alexa. Don't say that word.
Yeah, Alexa, smart meters and everything. Well, that's true to a certain extent. We are, but very much so. I just feel it's like really everything's coming to light, and I feel the year 2024 we're going to have more proof of all these things.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot revealed in that year, because that's something that I've felt as well. And also on your thing with the viruses, I also was thinking that in Australia they've got a bit of an outbreak at the moment, and they're thinking they might be able to lock down for it and be able to remove it. I get a feeling there's going to be a bit of a boom in Australia with COVID infections, unfortunately, because they're slow getting their vaccines out.
Well, I just feel the vaccine program, we've done really well here.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's signs of things to come with different viruses. But then we are in the 21st century. If we go back 100 years ago, we had plagues and everything, didn't we? Here,
no, I mean we get
all through it, don't we?
And but I certainly, I think in the UK, I think we're going to be exporting vaccines very soon, and it will be to Australia, it'll be to South Africa, and it'll be to India. I said this a long time ago. I remember saying that I felt that the vaccine here would succeed, which it has, and really. And I said also that it would. Can
I go on to another one?
Yeah, go on, Jane.
About health. Now, I also saw new stem cells discovery to help people with cancer, and I feel that they're going to be a breakthrough, because years and years they've been working on all different things with cancer, and they don't seem to have cures of that. But it's going to be new stem cells and things, because a lot of things are being manufactured in laboratories and things like that. And I think they're going to be more advanced with it.
I don't think I also made some predictions about that myself, about that I felt it would come from this COVID infection research, and which is different to stem cells. But you think specifically that it's stem cells that because I was feeling it had come from something with that RNA business.
Yeah, and I think blood groups make a difference, because I know there's a lot of things about rhesus negative or rhesus positive, and I feel that they're going to discover later on that all these blood groups will help different infections.
I think actually that sounds really right to me too, actually, because we were talking about it, weren't we? We were talking about, why do we have different blood groups? You know, does it come from Neanderthals, or does it come from aliens, or has blood evolved in order to combat different types of infections, because we were saying, weren't we? And that's a good thought, actually, because that's pulling out what we were talking about, about that maybe there's something in blood, and it's particularly about different blood groups. You might need different medicines, or you might need different treatments based upon you, because it's kind of not really been researched properly, has it?
No. And
certainly on that COVID, A group blood groups were more susceptible to COVID than any other blood group.
But I know, I'm rhesus negative O, and having the injection hit, I was fine through it, and it made me wonder, because the blood group
with your blood group also, that people were less likely to get seriously ill with COVID. So there's something in that.
There is.
And that could be one of the things that's coming out, couldn't it? Coming out that is coming from this whole business. I've got another one.
So have I after you.
All right, good. Because I mean, I was thinking about Dominic Cummings, because I mean, those in America might not know this guy's name, but he's a real big stab in the back for the Tory party at the moment, which is our sort of right-wing party in the UK. And he was an advisor, and he shocked everybody. But my feeling is that the damage that he thinks he's going to do is nowhere near as bad as people anticipate. I think Johnson will stay in power. I don't think he'll be pushed out with any of this. And I also feel, what's his name? Matt Hancock will remain in power. And there's going to be no big resignation on this, because I think the government's going to close ranks on this, and I feel they will weather the storm.
I think it sounds like sour grapes to me.
Yeah. I think public opinion thinks that these are just nasty, like exactly what you said. It's just people being nasty.
I mean, how can anyone deal with a virus that's suddenly come out? Because we're all running around like headless chickens. I think you've done a great job, Boris Johnson. I really do.
Nana's put an interesting comment. Can you actually physically see two completely different outcomes to any situation? I asked this because of free will. Yeah, I don't think we can see the future that's unchangeable, because if the future was unchangeable, then free will has no value whatsoever.
It's true.
We are just running a movie, and whatever we try to do or whatever we don't try to do does or doesn't happen, and there's no use making any effort. But with free will, we have to make an effort.
That's right.
You know, and that we can make changes, and we can save the world from destruction and environmental crashes and all the rest of it. And the whole idea is that we are here to interact with this world in order to awaken, as I say so often, that we're here to awaken. You've got another prediction, I think.
I
there,
have.
Jen.
No, don't you ask me to name this person. I know it is, but I have to be careful. I see a passing of a rock star linked up with the Rolling Stones. I feel we're going to hear very soon of a passing of a member of the Rolling Stones, a member.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Well, these birds fly.
I know, because
like this because birds.
They're in the 70s, and one I believe is 84.
Okay, so you see that very soon.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously not nice to predict a death, but sometimes
we don't predict
these things
death. Nobody can predict a death. I mean, doctors can tell someone when their organs are breaking down, but they can't say the precise moment someone's going to pass into the spirit realm. So
just to refresh you, that if we're going to go on to ordinary, open up to normal questions again now, but we're keeping, so that's our prediction part of the show over. Me and Jane will have a little bit of a chat as we go through more Nikola Avocado. Good on to see you, mate. And if you're a patron, like Nikola Avocado is there, you can join me on Zoom to talk about these type of things. You remember you saw some of those other ones where we had some of the patrons come on. We had some really interesting discussions, and that'll be on Thursday, this coming Thursday at 5 o'clock UK time, the 3rd of June, on the patrons. So if you want to become a patron, it will be for the tier 2 and 3 and 4 patrons, and we've got a new tier as well on the page. You didn't know about that, did you?
No.
We set up a new tier on the patrons for the super sort of helper, as it were. And if it's called a Helios, it's like another, we're using all these fancy Greek words. Helios was like the chariot that pulled the sun. So it's like those that really, really help. And we're going to do video interviews or video thank yous, actually, to begin with, for anyone that's a Helios patron. and we'll give you a personal thanks. That's basically what you get for it. But it's not about getting something. It's about those that are some of our viewers that are very affluent, who want to help with our cause, with our mission. Then that's your opportunity. So there we go. Yeah.
And what do they get for that, Craig?
Well, that's what I said. That we do a video, and we do a video thank you at the end of every live show.
Good,
I mean, they get all the other patron benefits, and we might be able to help with some more things later on too.
Because I've got some famous people booked up coming to see me. We could have them say hi to people and their views about spirituality if you wanted to.
Well, that would be nice, actually. One of the
I've got one
ideas.
coming next Friday.
Have you? Famous person.
Well, in Elvis Costello's.
Okay, yeah, but okay. We better not say who's who, because
all right.
they might not want that on view. But if we can ask people that come to us, we would be nice to start doing actual interviews with well-known people. We are going to do that. As soon as we got let down, didn't we, with the mill? I told you last week that we were hoping to get into. We were hoping to be in it by now, and everything's sorted, and we have our new studio set up. Unfortunately, we didn't. Unforeseen problems.
No. I think the guy had a few problems.
Yeah, he has. I think he had some some difficult problems in the background. We don't know what they are. We're not going to talk about that. No. But obviously, it didn't happen what we had in mind. So we're still looking. And so we're back to scratch on that, but hopefully we'll get something together soon. We're looking for a place with charm, aren't we? But then we can do proper interviews. We can get it all set up with our comfy pink settees or whatever people do.
Pink settees.
No, we won't do that. And be able to have something that I think you would all enjoy, because we'd have proper cameras set up. It'll be flick of the switch, or we'll do a hell of a lot more. Oh, another contribution, 170. NT, what does NT stand? You don't know what currency that is.
Cars coming mainstream.
Automatic. Okay, well, we can talk about.
Oh, they are coming, because there's a talk like the Johnny Cabs. You remember the Johnny Cabs in that movie?
Yeah, I think that was brilliant on Terminator, not Terminator, on Total Recall, wasn't it? Philip K. Dick, that was when they wrote that all those years ago in the 60s. I think we will see automatic cars coming
in another few years,
very, very soon. And I think mainstream, I reckon, again, round about the 2025 type of mark, because you've got to phase out all the old cars.
Yeah,
and you're not going to be able to do that.
We'll call it ladies' shopping cars. So
I had a thought about it. I saw it. I had a kind of a visionary type of thing of it once, of a kind of the way cars would come to your door, and they were like pods. They were like little bubble car type things, like a sphere almost. And they would kind of go from our house to a main central area, such as the main town centre. And then they'd link on to other ones that would be going to the next town, for example. And then they would link on to others, like a big long caterpillar.
I knew you was going to say
that would go, but then go at super speeds when it went from, say, so it went to here.
Train.
Say it wanted to go around us, from here. And then if we wanted to get to Glasgow or something, it was a long way away from here.
Do you know?
You get on the super highway.
When I was a little girl, I used to think in the year 2000, we would be flying in the sky in cars.
Yeah, Jetsons.
Yeah.
Because the world is I think we always there was a kind of a lot of fantasies in the 60s and 70s, wasn't it? It was an optimistic time when everybody saw people going to the moon. And you think, we can go to the moon, we can do everything.
Here's Nick Ricardo.
I've been watching people who've received the shot place metal. Oh, this thing. Yeah, I don't know about this, Nick. I know you made a comment about it. Objects into their bodies, and they stick like magnets. I've just tried it on a family member, and it happened. Any idea if that's why and it's safe?
Depends where you stick it, Craig.
Metal objects onto their bodies, and they stick like magnets.
Yeah, but where do they put it?
I mean, who's had the injection he's talking about here?
All right.
So you've had the shot, the vaccination.
Yeah.
And metal sticks to your body. And I presume that's only just I can't believe.
No, I don't believe that.
I can't. I think things could stick to you by, static electricity possibly, or by a sweat or something. I know you, Nikola, have a gun. I know you would never say anything wrong because you're a decent bloke. But I mean, I don't know whether
it's all this theory business again.
There's a few videos out on it actually out there. We'll have to go and have a look at the videos, and Domenico, you're watching this. You've had you've had your vaccination today. Let us know later on if anything sticks to you metallic. He'll probably turn up the big magnet on his head or something. So I can't answer it. I can't answer it, Nick. I just don't know on that one. But my feeling is, I'd rather have the vaccine than face the illness. And I think there's a hell of a lot of conspiracies out there because there's fear for something like this.
The Bill Gates thing.
Yeah, and all the fear, because we all know that the world is not controlled, is controlled by kind of elites and people with bad agendas. It always has been. And whether there's some horrible agenda both in the virus and in the vaccination program, who knows? But I still think at the end of the day, you've got to make a choice on these things.
I think you should worry if it's an alien that's done it to you.
Well, there are all sorts of theories out there about what's happening with this. Yeah, we do dream interpretations. We could take that on board, Jackie, if you've got something. Because my last video that went out when I was plugging my new book, the secret meaning of your dream, secret dream meanings, rather. I forgot the title myself. And we were talking about accidents. And actually, if you haven't seen that video, there's some really interesting
and I think
questions people put
what
down
about
there.
a program you've done, Nightmares Decoded?
Yeah, that was a good program.
Might be interested to see that on YouTube.
I've got some clips up there of Nightmares Decoded, because on that program they wanted me to do the interpretations, and I said, well, why don't we do it differently? And I do clairvoyance at the end of it.
It's fantastic.
And I was saying things to people, they couldn't, their jaw dropped. They hadn't, that same company had worked with another very famous medium in America, and he said, with this medium we used to have to take until you get it right. And he said, you just get it right just like that. I thought, well, yeah, of course you do. You got it, So it's quite interesting to use dream interpretation plus clairvoyance as well. I don't think the Queen has much longer to live, Nana's saying.
Well, I mean, she's been under a lot of stress, hasn't she? How old is she? 95? Is she, Craig?
I don't know. She might be older than that.
No, she's not.
She must have, younger than Philip, isn't she? He was 98.
Prince Philip missed his 100th birthday. He died before his 100th
99,
birthday.
wasn't he?
She's 95, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. I think she won't be around.
Well, it's pretty
longer.
likely she's not going to have much longer, really.
No, and I think all the stress around the poor woman.
And I think she's going through a very hard time.
Yeah.
It must take its toll on your health.
Yeah.
I mean, she's dealt with some pretty dark times in her reign, but these have been very dark times in terms of emotional home life, haven't they?
Well, yes.
You've got Harry out there today going on about, oh, we've got to save the environment and we've got to think about mental health, and it's all
He's
related.
Causing mental health.
Who are you to talk about this? I mean, really, you're not the spokesman for those things. They're just me. I want my attention, sort of thing, and that really annoys me. That
so sad.
And I think those are issues, both issues most important issues, perhaps two of the most important issues of our age. But at the same time, it's just using it for your own self-aggrandizement, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that must really hurt, because he was taught to speak to a public audience in order to represent his country, and now he speaks to a public audience in order to represent Meghan.
Yes.
And money-making Meghan, isn't it?
Wrong.
So I'm afraid I'm very anti that, and it must put a great deal of stress on the Queen. So yes, Nana, maybe that's going to cause her a problem. Yeah. So you're welcome to write your questions. We'll open it up to all types of topics. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want us to, me and Jane, to sort of address, any thoughts you might have, we can sort of let you steer the conversation now. Did Nikola Tesla really have contact with aliens? Now, I know that sounds like a daft question, but it's not in some respects, because Tesla was so incredibly ahead of his time. He was, I don't think he did, people have said, because he's so brilliant, where did he get this information from? People say the same things about some of these great holy men in India. How did they get their information? And it makes you wonder. But I think certain geniuses are perhaps more like in touch with what I would call like the Akashic record, or the universal
they've got
mind.
high subconscious and reaching to higher form, aren't they?
Or in India, they talk about this idea that you can get, like, I think they call it shruti, which is like receive knowledge.
Descending masters.
Yeah, that type of thing, ascending masters, that type of thing as well. But they got this idea that you don't have to learn things. As long as you get in the right spiritual state, you will know the answer.
Knowledge is within.
So even when it comes to doing an examination or something, you will just know the answers.
Focus.
Like super intuition. I think Tesla had that. I mean, he talked about wireless electricity. He invented alternating current. I mean, that's a pretty incredible idea because it pushed current vast distances where DC current and also alternating current was safer because it pushed you off it, and who knows, if you explore some of the ideas that he had some pretty good visions of the future too. Tesla, he saw a much more a safer world and very optimistic. It would be worth looking up some of Tesla's predictions online if you're interested. They're out there on videos, I think. You can get sort of a brief overview of Tesla's views. But he was a very, very brilliant man.
Yes.
Whether it came from aliens, nobody could answer that question, could you really? But he was definitely got super knowledge. And I think people like Einstein got super received knowledge. We've got pigeons jumping all over, doing all. We could open up a pigeon porn channel with this jumping all over our roof here.
It's the vibration.
We've got a very popular garden with the birds. What do you think of EVP, electronic voice phenomena?
Well, I think some of these ghost gadgets, it's just like a radio station, isn't it? It's sort of frequency waves. I believe that people can pick up voice phenomena on some of them. Yeah.
Do you remember Vi that used to work on
Yes.
on the chat rooms, and we had the psychic chat rooms on the Delphi psychic chat rooms on the website psychic.co.uk. It's not there anymore. But she introduced. We did a few seminars and
White
things. And we set, and we went down to Bristol, and I met the people that did the white noise thing.
Yes.
I actually worked on that program, White Noise, the film White Noise. They asked me as a consultant on that, and asked me to help promote it and things. But it was very interesting because I can't remember the name of the woman now, but she came from Spain, and they were getting some really remarkable results from white noise. You could really hear voices coming through it's just static. White noise is just like hiss. And you can get different types of white noise.
You can get brown noise and black
pink
noise
and all sorts.
Yep.
But you would just listen to this hiss and voices would come through. They were absolutely amazing. I even set some experiments up on the website going back those times too, where I just had white noise generators, when websites were not just about selling stuff on Google. And people were getting some really interesting, freaky stuff coming through. So I think white noise, what it does, I think, is it's like when you look at the clouds, you can see faces. And I think when you listen to a static sound like that, you start to hear it your subconscious projects onto it, right? Your subconscious projects onto that sound. And what you're actually picking up is the thoughts that are being given in your mind, But whether they can actually alter the noise itself is another question.
There has been where people have been dead and somebody has heard a conversation on the telephone. Picked up a telephone, they've heard,
of references
and that's
to that.
true.
Yeah, I mean, Sporting Times did a really good thing recently about voices from the dead through the telephone lines.
It's true.
I mean, have you had that? Any of you guys out there, put it in the comments if you had, because I think that's always very interesting. Not just knowing who's on the other end of the phone, but you get a voice from the dead.
You actually hear it.
It's going wild in the garden. We haven't got any food out there.
We feed ravens and rooks.
Yeah, I was thinking that I could have put a camera out there.
Yeah.
And we can have that. And we can always switch to it. Look at the size of that bird. Bloody hell. Sorry, guys. It's funny.
I feed them.
Do spirits ever contact you before you meet someone to do a reading?
Sometimes I've been known to be by the kitchen sink, getting ready, if like cooking, and I've heard somebody say, I'm trying to get through to my mother. And I have to say, well, you have to go because I'm busy at the moment. And then suddenly the phone would go and, well, can I make an appointment with you? Then I've had to say, did you lose a son with a very colourful waistcoat. Yes. Well, he's already been here. I better see you then.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
happened like that.
It does happen. It doesn't happen all the time like that. Like Jane, I get the same type of thing. Usually, I find I don't get anything until I actually open my mouth and start talking to the person. But sometimes, yeah, it does come in advance like that, and you get a real strong impression. And yeah, something like you know what?
And
Obviously, the white waistcoat was taken by
and,
the person.
and
They understood
children
it.
sometimes, because children seem to come through very quickly.
They seem to be a bit more spontaneous about the way
Yeah.
they contact you,
Yeah.
actually, don't they? Because children will often hit you in advance before you're ready to do the reading. Whereas like the adults in the spirit world, or the more people that have been over there longer,
If the need is great,
kind of
then
know,
the
don't
spirit
they, when
world
to
will
answer.
come through. Because I don't go with some of these people say, oh yes, I was married to a famous medium and he used to channel. And I think, why are they saying channel? I don't channel. I hear spirit.
It's an Americanism, actually, channeling.
Is it?
But it's also, it's a whole thing that's been a bit misused, the idea of channeling, because people channel all sorts of imagination as well,
Oh, right.
without proof. But no, it's just, it's like a medium, it's like a channel. Really.
Caroline, is remote viewing real, and what is it? You've done remote viewing, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it definitely is. I mean, there's a lot of experimentation was done on it. First of all, with the brilliant book out there called "Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain." It's an old book going back a while now, but it still holds good. And there was a lot of people. Margot Swan, I think, was one of the mediums that was involved in this, and they were asked to review, nuclear sites and things like that. So, but you have to check it out, excuse me, from your own personal experience, really. And we set up some remote viewing things when I had my circle, which we're also going to do. I'm going to do a circle when we get this place, by the way. So that those that live local to me might want to join me. I'm going to have a circle. But we did some remote viewing experiments, and we set up a number of experiments, which I won't go into detail now, I don't think, but we set a number of experiments up, like giving map references, and people were able to get it with only the words. It's like their unconscious knew, or setting up objects in different locations and telling people to see it and what did they see. And people would get it right sometimes, quite often, actually, more than sometimes, really specifically sometimes they just get a sense of it, but there was enough information there to know it. Yeah,
it's always best to write things down and date it.
Yeah, well, these things you have to prove, don't you? It's a form of clairvoyance, as opposed to telepathy and things like that. It's a form of clairvoyance, and it's certainly a very powerful thing. So you see what's going to happen before it happens, perhaps sometimes. Remote viewing's more in the present rather than future things. But it's seeing things at a distance. So yeah, it's a good one.
Russians use it a lot.
Yeah. So if you've got any questions, you're welcome to start typing them in. You don't have to wait. You can put them in at any point, because Domenico's in the background there pulling the questions up as we carry on here today.
Polar bear for you, Craig.
Yeah. So we've got someone that's an electric fan. So he must
electric.
He keeps people cool.
Polar bear.
No. Yeah, you must keep people cool. That's why he's a fan. Yeah. No, he means a fan of us. Hi, I'm a fan.
You're a stupid man. I thought you couldn't get it then.
I'm a fan from Mexico. I think you're very nice and spread a positive message. Lucky you won't like us anymore. Sorry, Polar. Now we have a lunatic as a president, and some say we're heading to the next Venezuela. What do you think? Now, Venezuela is in chaos at the moment, actually, if you don't know about Venezuela. It's chaotic.
I've been to Venezuela, Craig.
Have you? Yeah. So basically, he's asking us what we think about Biden, isn't he? Really, I suppose here. He's called him a lunatic as a president. I think we're all... Cummings put an interesting thing over here. He said, of all the people that you choose, you put me in power, he said, being Dominic Cummings, and you put Corbyn in power, and you put Boris Johnson in power. Where are you going to get some decent people in charge? And I think one day we will get people of character, not personality character, but good character, good qualities, as our leaders in the world.
I don't see why we can't. Why must it always be men? Why can't we have a woman in charge?
Yeah. So they're saying America's heading for chaos. I think, to be honest, I think America is still heading for chaos. It's going to take a long time it's in a nosedive at the moment. I worry a lot about the rise of China. I have very strong feelings that the China, once China, that's not the Chinese people, as we often say, it's the Chinese Communist Party. It's like the Russians were in the Soviet era. You've got these guys with huge amounts of money who have kind of hijacked capitalism for their own purposes, and then you've got what sort of money must those leaders have at their control? So you've got all that going on in the background. So you've got the rise of China, nothing wrong with China rising, but with a communist party on the rise that stomped through Tibet like it was like Hitler stomped through Poland. And then you've got also this weak America, because I think that what we're seeing, Biden, to me, I'm sure he's a decent man at heart, but he doesn't have strength in what he says.
It's not got what I call it a man with guts.
No, he doesn't. And Trump used to say it as it is, so that's why I think he was liked. But he was also, trigger happy in a lot of ways, in the kind of the way he was with what he just said what you said, whether people liked it or not, which was kind of refreshing for many people. And I don't really. We need people with much more. I don't know.
We need people to change the world for the better, not all about materialism.
Yeah,
we need people that are really got people's interests. We need people that make sure that everybody in the world gets fed.
Yeah, I mean, to have a world where there's still people starving in the world, and to have a world where some people can get a vaccination and whole countries go to
all the
war.
world should pull together.
I always thought the bigger the problems, the more, in a way, we get unity, because in many respects, this COVID problem has been something where we've all had to think that we can't sort this out unless the whole world sort it out. We can't sort negative things like the Chinese Communist Party I was moaning about, but we can't sort that out until the whole world come on board. We can't sort out North Korea until everybody comes on board collectively with sanctions, for example. We have world problems that require world solutions and strong world leadership. You can't do it with committees. You need strong leaders, but strong leaders who have good humanitarian values.
It's very sad.
Shall I read it out again and you answer it? Sarah's saying, my son died suddenly Saturday, age 29. Oh, crikey, this is a bit raw for you. I feel absolutely heartbroken. If I plead with him, will he make his presence known? Thank you, Craig and Jane.
I think it's a bit too soon.
Yeah, and we're not going to do readings through YouTube like this.
Because you need something. You need that time with a very good medium that gives you evidence and proof, and that you could record it, and it might not necessarily be for everybody's ears.
I also say, Sarah, if you're in the UK, you might not be in the UK, but it's also available in America. But it's worth looking into spiritualism, particularly during the period where one is grieving, because there's a lot of people there that are very kind. It's a community, but it also gives proof of life after death in the demonstrations of mediumship. And although you might not get a message from your son, I'm hearing all sorts of things here as I'm saying this, but I'm not going to say it now. Although you might not immediately get a message from your son, it would be very reassuring to watch others. I can't really do. I want to sort of say something, but we can't do the readings online. But we have also got coming up also some clips, or a whole video soon of us recently in the Southampton, where we did a demonstration of mediumship at the Concord Club, and Domenico's working on it, isn't he, in the background? So you'll be able to see some more proofs of life after
people
death.
have asked us to come back there again, haven't they? People were really, really wowed by it.
Yeah, I think when you give real evidence of proof of life after death, and you see it unedited, live and things, and you know that it's not people pulling photographs out of boxes or things and not pre-information that's been given to me, I think it can be reassuring, and it's nice. It's comforting to know that even when you see someone else get messages, that life continues. That's the objective with what we do. I have an occasional recurring dream about once every couple of years. I'm in a cellar with windows that run along one wall just below the ceiling, Outside, they are at ground level, and there are dozens of monkeys scratching, trying to get in. A nice, easy one to interpret, I think. I retreat to a second room down some steps. It has a terracotta tile floor and a large chunk of wood, like a beam in the middle of the floor. There are huge hand-forged iron nails driven into it, and it's burning. I only ever have the dream. So there's a second part to this. But I can start interpreting some of this, because the cellar is usually representative of that what's below consciousness. So it's like the hidden part of oneself. It's like the unconscious or the subconscious mind, where we might have pushed things aside. So if you're having it once every couple of years, so it's a recurring dream. So recurring dreams often relate to things from the past. You know, something that's happened in the past. So you want to look back. And this also, because it's in a cellar, and it's like it's pushed away. It's something you've repressed. Yeah, it's something you've pushed aside. And you're kind of, there's a little bit of light in there, isn't there? Because there's windows that are along, so there's some light thrown on this, but it's sort of unknown. So it's something that's upset you from the past. You want to look to the past to understand what this means. Outside, at ground level, there are dozens of monkeys scratching, trying to get in. Yeah, well,
they're mischievous monkeys, aren't they?
Yeah, monkeys can represent, like we talk about the monkey mind.
Yeah.
The instinctive nature. There's a certain sort of mischievousness with monkeys. There's some primitiveness with it. It's something somebody may have maybe tricked you. It's often a trickster figure in some dreams as well, the monkey can be. So you're trying to escape from this because you retreat to a second room. So it's coming back. It's coming back. Something from your past that you've not faced up to is upsetting you. And you've gone down to a second room, down some steps. So you've gone even deeper into yourself, right? And it's a terracotta tile floor and large chunk of wood, like a beam in the middle of the floor. I can't quite understand what that could mean at the moment. But all those qualities of earthliness might be symbolic.
It's like a danger thing, though, really, because you've got a beam and there's nails, they're burning. It's a warning.
Yeah, and there's nails which are perhaps associated. You might have personal associations with maybe things like crucifixion or pain or something. It's nails, not a pleasant thing, is it? Burning. And also burning, which is anger about it. You know, because fire can be anger.
But there again, there's very Indian gurus that can walk on burning nails.
Yeah. So there's something happened to you, Carietto, that happened in the past that you're angry about, that you've pushed aside, you've pushed out your mind. The monkeys might be symbolic of it in some way of what it's about, something confusing to you, something that's upsetting. And I think it's something to do with something you've had to push out. Something happened probably quite a long time ago, and it's something you need to face up to. Somebody did something terrible. Yeah, so if you're interested in dreams, and there are new books out there, of course, and there was the dream. A number of people must be following us again now because of the dream pages, videos I put up. Do you want me to read it for you?
Yeah.
Which Egyptian? Don't worry. We got cats, we got birds, we got every distraction going. What do you think about people with Rh negative blood? Less than 5% of the world's population have it. Are they of alien origin, and are they star seeds here for a purpose?
Well, they do think it's all linked up with aliens, certainly reptilians and things. But
some people think no scientific evidence for that.
Yeah, but it is very rare blood group around the world, and like we were saying before, where does these things come from?
Yeah,
are we coming from a different species? That which I think we are.
And of course, you've got to remember also, I mean, there could be, I mean, there's no, like I say, there's no way we could really answer that. I think you'd have to have some scientific proof that there was something in a certain blood group that was completely alien to human species. But we assume that human beings are human beings. I was saying to Jane, there were loads of different strains of human beings in the early days of evolution. I mean, some were in I think it was in South Africa, they found skeletons of very early human remains where the humans were just literally 2 or 3 feet tall. They were midgets.
They think we come from apes.
And then of course there's the different breeds of human beings that did interbreed with each other. So maybe some of those bloodlines are what remains of ancient bloodlines of species that are no more, human species that are no
And
more.
they think it also links to royalty, rhesus negative O2.
Yes, I know they got thoughts about that.
Tsars.
But I often wonder, I'm fascinated by the whole idea of human evolution. I mean, there was the whole idea of the naked ape. The naked ape. Why do we not have hair all over our body? I mean,
men do, don't they?
No, but thick fur. Why should
some men do?
To be out in nature without fur, without feathers, without anything to protect you from the elements, you're very exposed. So why did that happen? They reckon that humans went back into the water, like the whale used to be a land animal, and it went back into the water. In the whale's anatomy, there's actually legs, the evolution signs of where the legs were when it used to walk on the earth. And humans may have returned to the water for a period of time, but where we were swimming in the shallow waters, we lost the hair on most of our body except the head.
Yeah.
Except in my case, but these are some intriguing thoughts about where we came from. So those whole ideas of bloodlines, the human evolution took millions of years.
And another thing,
millions of branches.
When I was pregnant with Danielle, I had a dermoid cyst of hair and filled with fluid. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, with your blood groups?
Yeah, who knows? There's certainly interesting things. I mean, we can explore it with our imaginations. The last questions, by the way, guys, I put them up. We can explore it with our imaginations. But the problem is with that type of thing, we really do need the scientific evidence of those things. But who knows what they will uncover about where we came from and whether we do, perhaps all of us, have some form of extraterrestrial blood in us, which wouldn't surprise me. I loved that program 2001, didn't you? With where it hinted at the idea that alien species had pushed the evolution of man, or von Daniken's ideas that maybe we were interbred with alien species. It's all food for thought, isn't it? And if you've got any thoughts about it, do put it down in the comments below now and after when we've gone live, because it's always interesting to get your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings about all these topics and any you want us to cover in the future if you've missed us live. And so make your last questions, really. And don't forget, like and share this video, because if you like and share it on Facebook, it'll get out and out to more and more people. It's your little bit you can do to help us get these interesting ideas out to the world and get more and more people joining us. And if you really like it a lot, why not become a patron of the channel? As I said, I've got a Zoom thing coming up on the Patreon channel. I do put other little clips up there. And it does also, just by being a patron, it helps us to move the media things forward. It helps us to move the spiritual center forward. And it helps us also with all our benevolent work that we try to do in the world. I mean, all the money that Jane and I have made from that theatre, every penny of it has gone into it. We didn't take a penny. So, I mean, that we're doing our bit. We're setting an example too. So we've got a GoFundMe link, as Domenico's put the links up there. There's a GoFundMe link if you just want to give a one-off payment would be nice too. It's not for us, it's for the cause. And then we got the course, the new Helios patron level. So if you could become the first one, we haven't got any, it's only gone on today. It's a much higher level of payment. You don't get huge things for it. It just shows that you're an entrepreneur, you're not an entrepreneur. I've lost the word patron, basically. Altruistic patron.
It's your age, my dear.
I think I'm going to get worse as time goes on. But but you could help us with what we're trying to do. So you could become our first one. So the last few questions now, yes. Jane. And then I'll have to go and have my milk sop. And sit in my bath chair.
Oh, God. Nana says, how can you tell the difference between a premonition and an ordinary dream? My daughter Katie had a dream about a grey rabbit on her shoulder.
Well, you
answer it. Between a premonition, it's like sensing something and you feel it inside and you see it for so many seconds.
Yeah, premonition is like seeing the future, really, isn't it? That's what she's talking about.
And an ordinary dream, you're dreaming about things, lucid things and everything. But it's interesting.
I've always found the dreams that have a quality to them where they tell the future. often might show you something that is quite, in normal life, you might think it was something terrible, but in the dream, it's kind of comes through as matter of fact. You know, it's not emotionally charged. You might see something, nuclear wars or something, whatever it is you've seen, you know, but you might see something, but it's almost like it's the matter of fact quality with it, I've noticed. So it's as if it doesn't matter, and yet it's quite vivid, and it's kind of out of context with anything that you can describe that's normally happening in your life. Because like I've said with dreams before, most of them are about your emotions calming down and calming you spiritually down, and processing all your thoughts and feelings. And, you know, if you've been learning something, all that will be processed in the dream.
Yeah.
But there's some that stand out. And I think what you've got to look for is that it doesn't relate to anything that you can possibly connect with in your life. And it's probably not emotionally charged, because they come to me always, certainly in my case, I feel they always come with a sort of feeling of, you know, benignness, as if it doesn't matter. You know, it's like not emotionally
rabbits,
charged.
the symbol of good luck, especially got one on the shoulder. Because rabbits, do you remember years ago, they used to give you a rabbit's claw and wear it in a brooch?
Yeah, my
they?
granddad used to have
They
that
see
on
it
his.
as a sign of good
on
luck.
his
So
key ring.
Katie's good luck for Katie.
I think you have to look in terms of what the rabbit means. I think in that one you need to look at a lot of what your personal associations with it. Rabbit animals usually represent some aspect of the human
Depends on the
behavioural.
animal.
Behavioural.
Rabbit's cuddly, cute.
Bonking like a rabbit.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. On a shoulder.
Do psychics ever see historical past events as well as future
Yes,
events?
they do. When they have all these, when we go somewhere, so if we went to Stonehenge or we went to Basing House, we actually see it in our mind events when there's been like civil wars and
We
things.
pick it up, don't we?
Yeah.
And we've worked with archaeologists. I've done some things with archaeologists and museum creators in the past. But it's interesting also that there were psychics employed when they were searching for Troy. And the psychics came up with information that seemed to help them find Troy, because they didn't know where it was originally. They have been used in historic things. I'm really interested in this idea of kind of what I call psychic archaeology, because I'm very interested in archaeology.
Yeah.
And we had that archaeologist friend, our friend that died, who had him, Eduardo. Yeah, but I'd say he was very interested in that, and he had me working with that historian, that archaeologist, didn't he, for a while, and he handed me objects, and I was telling him about it and getting it right.
Yes,
and it kind of confirmed some of his theories, but I didn't know any idea what his theories was, because I'd never met the man before. So yes, it's a fascinating thing. It's something we have to do with Domenico when we start going out in the real world filming again.
Right.
My son passed away when he was a baby. How do babies come to you in readings and give messages?
Well, babies do grow in the spirit realm, and babies, as they're growing to a certain age, they do link with their earth mothers. I've had that many times. Yeah,
they say that the babies will grow, children as well, will grow to adulthood and go through the whole process of becoming an adult.
And then sometimes it might be relatives that bring the baby or the child through, and it would only be special things that you would know about that child, or where that child was placed, or perhaps with a favourite toy, and they would give you proof of that.
Yeah, usually if you're going to get a message from somebody that's a baby in spirit, it usually comes through an adult communicator.
Relative.
So another relative will often say, there's a baby in the spirit, and they want to tell you that
some women, in one experience, lost a baby 47 years ago, and this baby grew up, and I said, I've got your son here, but he was a baby. I said, but he had bright auburn hair. She said, yes, that's right. He was born bright. As he's 47 now. She said, yes.
And I remember one with the baby too, because I said the child, it was because it was only a toddler. I said it was buried, but was buried specifically with a blue doll. And they show me a blue doll, and apparently the child was buried with a blue china doll.
Well, that's lovely.
And so that's an unusual thing, because it was often children are buried with things. But I said blue china doll actually to the woman. So who would bury someone with a blue china doll? But there's sometimes those sort of little bits of proof.
Yeah.
And you've had loads. I mean, we both have. I mean, loads and loads of fascinating bits of evidence that are given to prove to people.
Ginger tea. I'm booked for a reading in June with Craig. Is there anything I should do to prepared for this reading. Please answer me. Run the other way.
Oh, that's nice. I don't know what your actual name is. Real name is Ginger Tea, but yeah, that'll be nice to do. If you're looking, it depends what type of reading you're having. But if you're having a reading that is mediumistic, I always think it's a nice beforehand. I mean, just to be in the right frame of mind. And people are often nervous when they call me, and I'm nervous when you call me too. You don't believe it. We're all nervous a little bit, hoping it's all going to be all right for the person. But if you're wanting a mediumistic reading, want to connect with the spirit world, open your thoughts to them. Really open your thoughts to them, and it helps to bring them closer to us. And that, I think, is probably the best thing you can do. But most of it, as long as you're relaxed and open, not necessarily, you don't have to believe everything we say. I don't saying that either. But it's also very good when you're doing it on telephone, because you're presumably booked with your telephone. It's good to hear your voice, because that helps make the vibration link.
Yes.
I often forget to tell people that when they
it brings the vibration and energy up. Yeah.
And it's the same in a theatre too. You need the voice of the person to help you make the vibration link.
Yeah, otherwise you get what we call blockers like this.
Yeah, and it's hard then. If the person sort of go, right, prove it to me, you've got to get through all that armour, and you spend all your time getting through the armour.
Peter, there is beauty in the simplicity of your broadcast. I hope you don't change it too much when your centre becomes a reality soon.
No, we'll try to keep it. I agree with you, Lita. It's good. I think keep things simple is good. Actually, even if we get good sort of better quality sort of camera work and things like that, which will happen with it.
Yeah.
But we'll do all sorts of different things. We'll do the sorts of Craig and Jane chats. We'll probably have. I'll probably run a circle. We'll have guests. Jane might do her own little women's group. You've often talked about. It'd be fun to do too.
Women's group.
Not on women's assertiveness group. We don't want any of that.
I might do a bit of that too. That's a great idea. Thank you for that.
So we'll have guests, and Jane and I do these sort of talks too sometimes.
And I will do readings.
Yeah, and also we're having all the kit set up. It means me and Jane and Domenico and all the rest of us can go out and do more things. I mean, we go out and do sort of the bloggy things you've seen on here as well, where we take a sort of camera on a stick, basically. But we can do a little bit, we'd like to make some programs that are kind of like slightly perhaps a bit investigative, Louis Theroux sort of type of investigation sometimes when we confronted non-believers. Nice. Love your work, so interesting, and I look forward to Fridays. Loved you both from Yorkshire.
Yeah,
we're beginning to say goodbye now to people.
Yeah, we really enjoy connecting with everybody because it's so nice. Because I think it's been so difficult for everyone having to sort of be housebound and everything. And it's nice to connect.
We're kind of running over line now, so we're going to be saying goodbye to people. Love your orange jacket. Charles, I've changed my name.
Yeah. Craig. You do. Oh, you sure it's not Charlie?
It's Craig, actually. Victor, but I get called all sorts of peculiar things.
That's nice.
Good because it's not staged.
No,
well, that's true.
It's just natural.
We just do. We thought our predictions in advance, but that's about all we've really.
Well, we go in a separate room. We don't tell each other.
Yeah.
And let it just come.
I think you need to be natural with these things. Who wants some wooden people? Please, can you do a live Halloween? Well, it's a while to go, but that's that would be quite a good idea.
We can once we get a centre, we can do all kinds of things.
I wouldn't mind doing that one in the New Forest. The one where me and Dominic, we went and we looked and we saw that it would be the 2000th anniversary of the death of when where the wagon of blood and all the rest of it.
What, Rufus?
Rufus, yeah. So we maybe.
Or even
want to see you live.
Witch.
Too bad I'm not British. Damn.
Isn't it just?
Maybe we'll come and see you sometime.
You're meant to be coming to London, aren't you?
You never know. Come over to England, and we'll have you on the show with us.
Yeah, but you're not eating me out of house and home.
Namaste. Katie and I say thank you very much for your insight. Thank you very much, Nana. Yeah, thanks all for joining us. Thank you both. Take care. Yeah, thank you all for supporting us, and do keep sharing it, please. And if you're here for the first time, don't forget to click that little bell so that you can subscribe and give it a thumbs up on Facebook, because that always helps with the rankings and things. And put a thumbs up on YouTube and just generally like us.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you again. Interesting chat. have a nice weekend.
Yeah, you all have a lovely weekend too.
And I think we're going to have some better weather here in the UK.
Yeah.
Love every Friday. Have a glass of wine and a bag of sweets.
He definitely has the sweets, doesn't he?
Yes, I definitely like the bags of sweets. That's my weakness. I'm a sweetaholic. Graffiti Avenue. Thank you, Craig and Jane. Hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
And yes,
You
do
too.
keep following us. Leave your comments again afterwards. Come back and leave a comment. It's
That's
always
John.
nice. Good show tonight. What are your covering next
I
week?
haven't really thought
We'll
about
probably
it.
just keep this sort of, probably there are a few predictions at the beginning and just let it happen. I kind of just like to let it happen, don't you? We could take a topic, but you can always put your topics in the comments. And if there's anything you particularly would love us to cover, we will.
Precious DeVere. So love to see you both. Thank you. That's a nice name, isn't it? Precious.
Thank you, Craig and Jane, for an enjoyable evening. Well, thank
Thank
you for
you.
joining us too. So I guess we're getting close to saying good
Tina,
night.
good night from Australia. Good morning to Neil. Who's Neil?
I don't know. Hi, Neil. All right, mate. Yeah.
Denise, love you both. Love all of you.
One of
too.
our ghosts.
Denise.
Love you.
That's
both.
nice.
Thanks, Craig and Jane. Always a pleasure to see you. We do a lot of goodbyes and a lot of hellos on this program, don't we?
Yeah.
But it is quite nice that you all get a chance to see
Sheila,
us.
thanks so much. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks, Sheila. I hope to see you on one of the Zooms too, Sheila. I always find you make have some interesting thoughts. So we're getting towards the
Chris,
end.
Craig,
We've got lots of
thank you for a great
goodbyes.
start to the weekend. Thank you, Chris. All have a lovely bank holiday because it's bank holiday.
Yeah, here in the UK, it's what we call a bank holiday. It's like a day off for everybody. In fact, funnily enough, Domenico we went on a machine, didn't we? And one of these fortune telling machines like they have in when the gypsy looks into the crystal ball, and it said he'd have a special day off, and he did today. It was predicted by the fortune telling machine. So, gosh, to you, Jane and Mr. Craig, wishing you a beautiful weekend until next time. Call yours. Thank you, Beatrice. I feel like I'm reading out the telegrams at a wedding. So I think we're going to have to say goodbye now to everybody.
Just do this last one.
No, I would like a week about what our loved one goes through when they pass away, stages in heaven.
Yeah, that's good.
Actually, that's a pretty good thought. Actually,
yeah, perhaps we can do that next week.
What happens immediately you die? Yeah. What happens when you first leave the body? What happens when you first leave the afterlife? What happens to the physical body? Whether there's an astral shell and whether the spirit moves. Yeah, all interesting stuff in my book, What to Do When You're Dead, of course. But we could talk about those sort of things. Yes. That might be a nice one to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to say goodbye to you now, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Always Fridays, 5 o'clock UK time. See you soon.
Take care.
Bye for now.
Would you like to know more about the paranormal world? Craig Hamilton Parker's books are now available on Amazon. Explore the future. Discover what happens after death. Unlock the secrets of your dreams. Learn to develop your own psychic skills.